It's a headline haunting families across the U.S. More than 40% of our baby formulas are out of stock. We've seen Facebook groups spring up just to point desperate parents in the right direction. The government starting to investigate companies for price gouging. Meanwhile, there's a chorus of people saying, why can't you just breastfeed? It's free. Well, here to talk about the reality of breastfeeding as an option during this formula shortage is UW Medicine lactation consultant Gretchen Rohrbaugh. Thank you for joining us this morning. So many questions going on right now for parents, for men maybe wanting to support their wives. So let's start with this. Have you seen more parents coming to you for advice on breastfeeding during this formula shortage?
Yeah, so families always need a lot of support with the breast and chest feeding process after their babies are born. And I think we've received a lot of anxiety questions around what they should do if they're needing formula and they can't find it.
Can you talk through some of the physical difficulties that parents encounter when trying to breastfeed? Why isn't this an option for everyone?
Sure. So breastfeeding and chest feeding requires lots of support from partners, from medical professionals. It's not something that just it's very rare for it to just be a very easy thing that happens. And I think that a lot of families end up needing some support with increasing their milk supply to have enough for their babies. There's a lot of times medical reasons why families can't breastfeed or chest feed. So it's just something that, I think there needs to be an emphasis on the support of families in the postpartum period, because what tends to happen is families have their babies and then the support kind of drops off, and it can take weeks to establish a really good milk supply. And when these families don't have that support, it tends to fall off. And so I really think that there needs to be more access to care for families through insurance covering. Thankfully, most insurance companies cover a pump. I think that families need more access to lactation counselors and consultants that's covered by insurance. There needs to be more support groups available for free for families, and definitely when families need to supplement their babies with additional milk that they're not able to produce themselves, that there's better access to donor milk and formula as well.
And just kind of talking about the price and the financial aspect of this, Vox is reporting this morning that parents who breastfeed typically spend $950 in the baby's first year. Can you talk a little bit about the supplies and classes that people need to breastfeed and how much that will cost?
Sure. So there's definitely costs associated with breast and chest feeding. I think that formula, at contrast, costs families about $1,800 a year if that's how they're feeding their baby primarily. So it's definitely not more expensive than formula feeding. I think if there was better access to care through insurance and through free programs in the community, that cost of breast or chest feeding would be essentially maybe tens or 50s of dollars, because you're looking at things like nursing bras and creams and pillows, things like that. But as far as like the overall cost, formula is still definitely more expensive for most families. And another thing I want to make sure to address is that this shortage is definitely affecting underprivileged families the most. And wealthy families are going to be able to pay these rising costs of formula during the shortage, but we need to really make sure that families are getting connected with WIC and SNAP so that they have access to the formula they really need for their babies. We don't want families to be making their own formulas at home, diluting formulas, giving their babies water, cow's milk, or juice. Babies shouldn't be getting anything other than either infant formula or breast milk in the first 6 months of their lives.
All right, Gretchen Rohrbaugh, thank you so much for joining us this morning and giving parents, some insight in what to do in the future.